Welcome to this week's episode of Be Bell. I think you're going to really enjoy this one. I'm actually buzzing because I've just finished recording and this woman is full of energy. She filled the room. She lights it up. You may know her from the Apprentice. She told me all about her backstory, which I really was so interested in. We are both movement lovers and I think you're going to really enjoy this. So I'll introduce you now to Miss Maura Rath. Welcome, Maura. I am really excited to have you. I love movement, so you're a movement sister. However, in the yogi world, I'm delighted to have you on because I have been watching you, like most people.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a bit of an apprentice obsessive. Some people will know, I don't know if a lot of people know actually, I applied in 2000 back in the day.
Yeah.
In a very old format that it was in. And I love it. And I'm that person that screams at the screen going, for God's sake,
why are
just
you
do
doing that?
this. Just do this. That's a quick win. Come on.
I can tell you a few little apprentice secrets if you want.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But Be Bell, as you know, it's all about the women behind the business and who has influenced you and why you do what you do. So we're going to take it right back to the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right back to the beginning. So tell me, where were you born? Where did it all begin?
So I'm born and bred Wexford woman.
Lovely.
Where did it all begin? You know, I didn't really move through my, sometimes we tell stories about ourselves. I wasn't really a movement girl in school, as in like, I liked swimming, playing, but was never good at like team sports and things like that. So I'm going to then fast forward in 2011, I moved to New Zealand. I don't know if you've ever been there.
But I'm going to stop you because that's just too fast.
I know, I'm very fast.
I need to know more.
Tell me what to say.
I need to know more about you growing up. Like, I moved here in 2000. So what year were you born? Because you
I'm
look
1989.
Like you're 89. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
34, but I'll take 12.
Okay. I was going to hate you even more then. But so Wexford, growing up, like, what did your parents do?
Yeah. So I actually come from a very Irish family. I'm one of 6. I have 5 brothers. My mum and dad are, they're great. They're wild. My dad is one of 15. My mum is one of 15. So surrounded by a massive amount of family growing up. And my dad is a businessman, entrepreneur. He had me growing up he's been a vegetable farmer, vegetable businessman, a builder, like all sorts. He's now currently, a shopkeeper, farmer. He always had new businesses going. Yeah. So I feel that was from an early age. Both my parents worked my whole childhood. My mom was a nurse. And it was just all go.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I'm actually one of 5, so I kind of get that all go thing.
That madhouse.
But I'm one of 5 girls, so I can't imagine what it'd be like to have 5 brothers.
Well, I do have a good bit of masculine energy from it. Even though I come across quite feminine, I think I get a lot of my strengths from it.
Yeah.
I was in a house where you had to shout to be heard. Well, my husband says we all just shout actually still, but that's how we communicate. But we are a really close family. We all are full of energy. I think we're probably 6 extroverts.
Okay.
So when you come to our house, it's a bit, but we're all great crack as well.
And where do you land in this?
In the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah, so 3 older, 2 younger. And I have a brother that is... And we both fight over the middle child syndrome. He's got a little bit more of middle child syndrome than I do because I'm the only girl.
I think you're all right if it's 6.
Yeah.
Because it's 3. I always say, because I was I was one of 3 for quite some time until the other 2 arrived. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
But so did you find that they were quite protective of you?
No. No. They would probably say they were. They made my life hell. I'm joking. No, they were protective in their own way, but like... They made me hardy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I had to, they weren't protective, like money coddling me. Like I probably am the bossy one. Yeah. Do you know, I was telling them what to do and they were just ignoring me. So I suppose they weren't really protective. Now, I mean, I had boyfriends and things they tried to be, but I just did my own thing anyway.
I love it. And do you find then, because I'm like, I always say I'm an extroverted introvert, but like I can hold my own, like yourself. But if I'm in a room of extroverts, where do you become more extrovert or do you step back and let them go for it?
Do you know what? I probably used to become more extrovert.
Okay.
When I was probably a few years ago, but now I'm more kind of sit back a little bit.
Yeah.
Depends on my environment. If I'm around women not anything against men, you know, people, so funny when I got into The Apprentice, I almost turned into this big feminist, and I am all about women, but in certain circles, you can kind of find your voice more. You know,
yes.
And if I'm with like-minded people, I probably have more of a voice and extrovert. But if I'm with people, I'm just like, we just don't have much in common. I probably won't say much.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I kind of sit back. If everybody wants a bit of the limelight, I kind of just find myself regressing back, and I just sort of let them go for it and listen and then I'll know when to come in. But so at school, did you go to a single set school, mixed school with your brothers? Or
a bit of both. I went to mixed primary, then I went to a single girls school. Didn't suit me very well, so my parents had to move me to a mixed.
Okay.
I was a bit of a brat, to be honest, in school. You
That's
know,
all right.
Full of beans. Just always, my teacher was always, all my reports are Maura looking out the window, Maura daydream, Maura can't stop talking. And to be honest, the academic style of school didn't suit my personality. I loved art, I loved creative things, and I loved the teachers that were a little bit different, that didn't just write on the board, that were a little bit creative with us. Like, it can sound so silly, but I had like a maths teacher, and I remember she would get you to stand up or move, and she taught P as well. And then I would kind of be good at maths.
Yes.
But then other academic subjects, if the teacher was boring, I was bored.
Yeah.
So I feed off energy.
We actually like sisters from
Soul sisters.
Absolutely. Because I'm like that. If you show me movement or pictures or whatever, make it exciting, I'll remember something for the rest of my life. Really photographic.
If I do it, if I even have a little rhyme or something, it'll go in. I think there is a name on that type of person that learns.
Yeah, but I am not an academic. I still hate reading to this day, to be honest. Like, I always read the last page and then go, I know what happened.
It's too
late.
Audible now is great. Put it in the ears.
I know. And actually, I love getting in the car because, you know, good podcast or good Audible book, we learn so much.
Throw it on and listen the whole way.
Absolutely. But I think, I don't know, certainly in my day, there was only one style of teaching, really. And I'm like yourself. I remember that teacher that made it interesting.
Yeah. And to be honest, there was only really one style in my day, you know, as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's only changing in recent years. I mean, teachers might come at me, but I feel like I connected with the passionate teacher.
Yeah.
But to be honest, school, I did feel like a bit of a failure in school. Like, I did absolutely rubbish in my Leaving Cert. And I just went to art college because it was the only thing that I could get into and I was good at and enjoyed. I hadn't got a clue what I wanted to do, but I was a good worker. You know, I worked.
Give it a go.
Yeah, I worked since I was 14. From when we were kids. I mean, I worked since I always say to my parents, child labour. I used to have to make dinner for my 5 brothers since 8 years of age. You know what I mean? Like, I was always working and busy and doing stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that happens enough. Like, I mean, I was selling Rubik's Cubes at school at 7 and
wheeling and dealing.
Wheeling and dealing like all the time. Do you know what I mean? Got kicked out of guides for taking on the tuck shop and all that. So, but I think that makes you who you are.
Yeah.
Those experiences, and makes you so much more independent.
100%. And now when I think back and look back, I'm like, I was always meant for, you know, self-employment. I was always meant to be an entrepreneur. I was always meant to have my fingers in loads of pots. It just wasn't really the done thing when I was in school. Yeah. And if you said to someone you wanted a business, they'd be kind of like, what's that? Or it's a bit mad, you know?
Yeah. What does an entrepreneur look like?
Yeah. But now everyone's doing it.
Absolutely.
It's a bit trendy.
Absolutely. It's like a buzzword.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder than I think. And you know what's really interesting, Shan? I think that, you know, I've some friends and people that I know that have tried to create businesses and things. And I sometimes think that the real academic person, it doesn't suit.
No, I think we have different brains. Like actually, someone I do another pod with, Deep Dive, she has recently found out she's got ADHD. And I was just like, oh, right, yeah. And she was like, yeah, so I'm just getting my head around it. And I said, oh, Jesus, I'd say definitely I have it. Or most entrepreneurs must have something near it, because I don't think we'd be able to do it if we didn't.
No, I'm thinking 10 things at one time. I'm butting in when people are talking. When I look at all these TikToks and Reels, I'm like, I fucking have that.
Oh no, I'm even like, I don't need someone to tell me that I've got it. I'm definitely on the spectrum, like, because otherwise the fear would overtake and we wouldn't have the confidence to be able to do what we do and to be so fluid and be able to fluctuate and change as the business needs it. I think it definitely needs a different brain.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, I love that you agree on that, because we're always saying it like...
No, and I just think as well, like, you don't have to be someone that's able to, like, sometimes you beat yourself up that I can't get the job done or I can't focus. You know what? It works for me just to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and then jump back on. Now, I do these mad little things where I'm like, I set a timer and I'm like, you're not moving off that chair until those are done.
Yeah.
And then it's like 2 hours. And then what I can do in 2 hours under pressure is like a superwoman.
It is amazing. I do that sometimes. I'm like, you can't leave the desk. And sometimes it's like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I will get this done.
And then you get it done. You're like, woo, wasn't even a big deal.
The achievement. Eating the frog, I will say eating the frog. But so at school, were you sporty?
No, not really. No.
So which group did you land in? Was it like the artistic ones, the dreamers?
No, I was in the group of girls that were like, I had lots of friends. Like, there was a few little groups that I kind of buzzed around in.
I was just going to say, were you a social butterfly?
I was friends with everyone in school, and like had loads of friends, and I had my best friends. But like, sometimes like I think in primary school I wasn't great at like football or like GA. That's all you played in my school. So then I just was like, I'm shit at sports.
Okay.
And then you tell yourself a story that you are when you're not. And I was good at basketball, good at other things. And then I just was like, oh, I'm not into that. Yeah. But I probably was. Because sometimes the girls that were very sporty, you were either really good or you weren't there.
I was that sporty girl. I was in it, like every team. But I think at a certain age, you find out which ones you like. And then your actually a friendship group becomes smaller because you don't see those people in those other teams. I look at my niece now, actually, she's 5 and she only has one day off. Like I said to my sister, surely 6 things in a week for her to be going to is too much. But she's like, she's just learning what she likes. So she keeps asking. Yeah, she keeps asking to do this.
I think of the mammies driving around for all that. No, thanks.
No.
I'm like, choose one.
Bye. Yeah, I'd be like, no, you're really good at golf. Golf is really good.
Well, I did swimming club. So like 2 or 3 times a week, my mum would be bringing us in, like, and I was really good at swimming, and I used to do galas and that kind of stuff. So that was like a little bit of competitive, and even though it's a solo sport, you were in a bit of a team for that.
Yeah.
Did all my water safety, lifeguard and that kind of thing. Did a bit of horse riding, like those kind of things.
Just mixing it up.
Yeah.
And so then you went to art college.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, I know you don't know what you want to do, but did you have any idea of what you wanted to do when you left there?
I was living for the session. I'll be completely honest with you, right? The absolute crack factor. I was like, I do not want to do anything academic. If I can do a bit of painting, a bit of drawing, I'm good at that. A bit of sculpture, I'll be grand. Get a degree, and I just want to travel. Yeah. Just want to travel, get out of Ireland. And I don't know, like, it was a time where like I didn't really know what I was at. Anyway, ended up randomly getting into an art college that was Carlow IT owns the art college. It was on the Wexford campus.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like that whole time I made one of my lifelong best friends from that. That's the only thing I really got from that degree.
Okay. Well, that's good enough.
It's the best thing.
Absolutely.
One of my bridesmaids, I was hers, That means that I met amazing people along the way. She's like, but how are you supposed to know what you're at when you're 18?
No, you don't.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it filled in a couple of years. I was working in a nursing home at the time when I was in college. Like, I remember this. It's so funny. I don't know if I've ever really told many people this, but like, we'd finish college like 4 o'clock. I'd speed out to a nursing home. I'd start feeding and giving elderly patients tea and biscuits from 6 to 9 p.m. Then I'd get home from doing that, right? Yeah. And then I would have a nagging of vodka gone by 10 o'clock. And then you got to get into the club before whatever time to get in free. And I just do that.
Wow. That's what I call prioritising.
And now my life is a million miles from that, thank God.
It's yeah, but I think you have to live a bit to know what you want as well. Yeah. So at what age did you go travelling?
19. Younger. Like, I had a boyfriend that I went, like, remember after school we went to New York together. Yeah. Then I had, like, I was from after 6th year, I went on a group holiday to girls to Greece. And then properly when I was 19, a few of my brothers went to Australia and I followed them out. Had the best summer of my life, like 4 or 5 months partying the whole time. We're all so close as siblings with all their friends, and I made loads of new friends. And then I rang my mum and I was like, Mum, can I defer college for a year? I want to stay out here with the lads. I'm having the best time. And she was like, I contacted your college and they won't allow you to defer. You're going to lose your degree spot. So you have to come back. She never even asked them. She just made that up.
Oh,
And this was before you could like be online,
Yeah.
but it was probably good. I came back, finished my degree, and then went off after minute college was over. I did a bit of work for 3 months, saved, and then I headed to New Zealand.
Amazing. And where did you go in New Zealand?
Christchurch, Auckland. I did a load of travel of Southeast Asia while I was like on the way. I did Thailand and all, you know, a few of those countries, Laos and stuff, Australia, and then ended up in New Zealand when I ran out of money.
Amazing. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. It's on my list.
Yeah.
I must get, there is actually a shan there named after me in Christchurch.
Really?
I need to go and meet I used to run pubs, so two of my couple that worked for me back in the day. So she would probably be about 19 now.
There you
but
go.
they named the little girl after me. So I always say I'm going to come over and meet her.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country now.
Yeah,
It really is.
stunning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. So what made you come back? Did you know that you were just going to travel? You didn't,
I was
home
there
was home.
like 6-7 years and like my heart was in Ireland,
Yeah.
you know, and I loved New Zealand, but you know what? It's very isolated.
Yes.
It's beautiful. But my mum was like, come home. Come
Yeah.
home. Why are you
It's
doing
a
this to
long
me and
way.
your dad? And then I had met a New Zealand lad when I was supposed to leave, and she was like, you're never going to leave now. And then he's now my husband and he lives in Ireland with me. So it's funny
What
how
a
it
smart
goes.
man.
Yeah.
And very well done, actually, because it's not often that Irish women get the men to move here. Women tend to move for men. That's just a fact. Like we just do.
Really?
So very well done.
Oh
yeah.
no, I put down T's and C's very early in the relationship.
Yeah.
But funny enough, Shan, I miss the sun more than he does, and I would probably go now live somewhere else again. But he's so
Yeah.
settled in Ireland and he loves it.
Look, I'm here 24 years. So like I always say, no one needs to sell Ireland to me. I would have gone a long time ago if I wasn't obsessed with it. It's
And people
an
always
amazing
say
place.
to him, "Now, why are you here?"
Yeah.
Irish people are like, "Oh, why don't you there?" And he was like, "What is this like? You're so proud of your country, but then you're asking me why
I
I'm
know.
here."
People always say, do you like it? And I'm like, well, I've been here 24 years. I think I might like it. So when did your love for movement start then?
Oh, New Zealand. I started to run in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I was like, geez, I'm actually good at running. Do you know, I'm not too bad at this. And I loved it. And then with running, you know yourself, you get
Yeah.
tight. And I was not naturally a flexible person. You know, I'm 5'10" since I'm about 14 years of age and never stretched. That's the
Okay.
truth, you know.
And they still don't, by the way, do they?
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad, you know. And then I started to run, getting a bit tight, and there's yoga studios in every corner in New Zealand. It's amazing. And someone was like, give a yoga class a go. And then I gave a Bikram yoga class a go,
Okay.
which is like 40 degrees heat for anyone that
Yeah.
hasn't been. Bananas.
It's gorgeous. I made the mistake of, I thought I was sitting under the aircon
Oh gosh.
and it was the heater.
the worst.
But I actually got really into that. Like, I think
Yeah.
you can become quite addicted to that.
Yeah, like I did it. And the first class, I never forget it. I left and I got sick. I vomited and I was like, oh my God, what was that? I want more. Like,
yeah, it's weird. It is
so
weird.
weird. And it was like, I think it's like known
It's
as
the
a bit of a
same
torture chamber, isn't it?
There's actually a girl here, there's a girl in Cork that does Bikram, and she also does heat Pilates.
Wow.
But yeah, I loved it. The only thing for me is it would take 2 hours out of your day because it's 90
That's
minutes,
so
it's 19 moves.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good though.
Yeah. So I got into that for a bit, but then I actually found that it wasn't for me, the Bikram.
Yes.
You know, it was a set sequence. It's very like almost a little bit military.
Regimented, yeah.
So then I just started floating around, going to different yoga classes and different things and really getting into the gym and movement and everything. And then there was a teacher I went to, and whatever she did in that class, there was just something shifted. And I was like, oh my God, I can love this. And at this time I was working in a corporate job, in insurance, really well paid job. Had wriggled myself into a company and worked up, and it was going really well. And
Yeah.
I was doing really well, and I was loving my salary because it was feeding my social life. I was traveling to Fiji at the weekends and doing all sorts, you know, and it was great. And then, but the yoga is where I was happy. And yoga, everything was clear. And I was doing yoga, I mean, morning and night after work. And that was
Yeah.
my happy point. And then kind of one day I was just in a class and I was just like this teacher. I had moved to Auckland at this point, and this teacher, I was like, I want to be a yoga teacher and I want to train where you train, Lizzie, lovely Lizzie. And then she told me the school she went to in India, and I just loved everything about her. And I was like, I just want your life.
Yeah,
I want your
I want
life.
to be you.
So after kind of saying that to her, she told me where she went. Then it takes a couple of years of courage to do it, you know, and you talk yourself out of it. So I was leaving New Zealand with my new man, and we were going traveling for a year before we go back to Ireland. And we then, first stop was India. Maura wants to get her 200 hours so she can become a yoga teacher, go back to her insurance real job, I say with inverted commas, and teach a yoga class once a week, and then I'll be happy.
Amazing.
Then I'll be able to get a mortgage, then I'll be able to do everything, and it'll fill my little cup. Grand. So I went to India for my 200 hours, which is supposed to be 4 weeks. And then we were heading to Mexico and places all around the world. We were doing a big trip. And then I was like to my now husband, I was like, do you mind if we actually stay a bit longer and I'll do my 500 hours? So ended up staying in India for nearly 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
Like eat, pray, love. He surfed every day. I yogaed every day. I shed layers, tears. It was the most emotional thing. And by the end of it, Shan, I was like, I don't need money. I don't need anything. All I need is my mat. I am so at peace. I'm so at home. I let go of, so much that experience shifted me as a person. Anyway, we went traveling and I was like, I'm not going back to an office. I'm going to teach a couple of yoga classes a week. This is going to fill my cup. And then I went home to Ireland and I did that, started to teach. The struggle was real. Some weeks I was making €20.
Yeah. And were you all teaching for yourself or at the studios?
At this stage, I actually was living in Wexford.
Okay.
And there wasn't really any yoga studios that you could teach for. So I was teaching for myself and I'd be getting my friends to come, my family to come. Please, guys, make it look busy. One person's booked.
Yeah.
This was going on for a long time. And then we decided to move to Dublin. And then I was like, right, get myself into every studio I can. And I was like, I'll teach for free. I'll teach for this. I just wanted to I knew I was good. I believed in myself. And but if you say it to a studio back then, I've just come back from India, you probably won't get work. So I was just selling myself and practicing in their studio and then staying behind and be like, hey, I love that class. If you need cover, I'll help you out. And Brilliant. It worked. It worked, and I had a bit of savings. So it's not as easy as just I saved a lot before I left traveling and I was like, right, I'm going to keep this 10 grand to help set up my business or help set me up with whatever in Ireland. So I had that little bit, Brilliant. It wasn't to keep me going and just kept hustling. I've hustled my way up till today. That's really it.
Jo Brown Ireland offers luxury natural products for both you and your home. They were founded in 2016 with the ethos of developing real premium products in a natural, sustainable way. Their packaging is all bamboo, which is grown naturally. They are very passionate about all the ingredients that they use, to the point of where even they use the plant itself, with the bamboo powder that sit in their body scrub. This actually, on a personal level, is one of my favourites, and also their cleansing balm. They are award-winning, having won 7 Global Beauty Awards. We are super proud to be working with Jo Brown, and thank you for supporting Be-Bell Podcast. But it is about the hustle, and I think people see things and they think it's easy. And it, behind, I always say it's all smoke and mirrors, guys. Everybody's hustling behind. Everybody's, under the desk. They're all running and they look nice and mellow on top. And even in the world of yoga, I work in that sphere, I suppose, in Pilates, but yoga instructors are very different to Pilates instructors. I always say it's very different. It's a different world. And that, that I suppose that I always say Dharma, karma, living in, the Dharma, guys, is the world you want to live in. And the karma is kind of the stuff sometimes you have to do to get there.
Yeah.
And the karma is the hustle.
Yeah. And I have to say, I do go through times in my life that I'm like, I don't know, I know I try and really respect yoga. So, and being a yogi, a real yogi, you're not making money. Yeah. You're living on your own in an ashram. You're so at peace with yourself. There's no social media. There's nothing like that. You're vegan, all this kind of stuff. So sometimes I do go through this little internal battle, to be honest. But I try and just make it realistic. I live in Ireland. I want to be able to go on holiday. I want to be able to, I'm still trying to get that mortgage to buy a house. Do that kind of thing. You'll do it. And it is a funny battle. And I think sometimes in the yoga industry, maybe there's a little bit of judgment, but maybe that's my own inner voice that's doing that judgment. So I go through this, but really I try and give something back to community every month. I do my sunrise yoga events, and that's my little way of karma, I suppose. Yeah. Yoga's given me this gift. I've been able to spread it with the world. And my teachers in India, that I'm still connected to, a couple of them, they're like, they love it. They love that I'm bringing yoga to the Western world.
You have to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
You have to bridge it, because sometimes people can get a little bit overwhelmed by it. You have to be able to draw new people in and give them an understanding of what you do. And I think you do a really good job of that.
Thank you.
Will you make it accessible?
Yeah, and make it like, you don't need to look a certain way.
Yeah.
You don't need to be like my people that come on my retreats. I have had ladies in their 70s.
Yeah. I
have ladies in their 20s. I have men. Just recently, my last Sunrise Yoga, this guy came up and I don't know what age he was. He could have been in his 60s or something. He looked out the window. He's seen a load of people walking and he just followed and joined and had a lovely morning. Like, that's my heart full. Do you know?
Yeah. No, it is amazing. And I think everything in life is what you make it. So, we all get to the end destination. We might just go different ways. And that's what you're doing for people. You're just giving them a different way to enter that world. And I think it's really important. But tell me, I'm going to take you back a little bit because I want to know how you met your husband.
My husband? Let me see. It was so funny. My cousin, who's like my really good friend as well, David, was living in Auckland.
Yeah.
And I was up visiting for a weekend and we had a little connection. Nothing happened, just kind of laid eyes on each other. And then we were kind of in the same friend group. I moved up and we just were like...
Did you know though?
Do you know, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know if I knew.
Okay.
And I don't know if I believe in...
I knew. Before you say it, I knew straight away.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know? So I knew, it's so funny. I feel like the universe put us together, right? I feel like it happened for a reason. There's a reason why, and I know he's my person now. But I also think if I would have made other decisions, I could have had maybe
serendipity.
Yeah, so it's funny.
Sliding doors, I meant, not serendipity.
I have an amazing relationship with my husband. He's my cheerleader.
Yeah,
we're chalk and cheese. He's the most introverted person. Hates attention. It's so funny.
Nearly every woman that sits in this room that's very confident and like ourselves, all their husbands are exactly that. And my husband's exactly the same.
Yeah, I'm a quiet man at home, but like he is a worrier. And like, it's so funny how like certain things I'll lose it over and he's like, nah. And then he'll be stressed over a wire. And I'm like, it's only a thing. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah. I stress over even the wire and my husband goes, we'll just sort yourself out. Don't panic about it. And then off he goes. He's like, no, get someone to do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But, and so when it came down to, so you've started your business, you've got some jobs, you've got some money coming in, this is the right thing for you to do. And what point did you decide, I'll tell you what, I'll apply for the Apprentice?
It's so funny. I'm someone that like, I'm very random, Shan, very random. I never watched The Apprentice, right?
Love that.
And I don't know if people even believe that. I knew what it was.
Yeah.
Now and again, I'd watch it. Last year, I was on my honeymoon in Costa Rica and I was scrolling on my phone and I seen an ad for The Apprentice and just didn't even tell my husband and just applied.
Amazing.
And then one night in January, I was in bed with him and I was like, oh yeah, I applied to be on The Apprentice. And he was like, what the hell? And he's not from Ireland or the UK. So he was like, the Donald Trump one. I was like,
no, thank God.
No. This one. And he was like, oh my God, you're going to get it. And I was like, I know. So I just knew. Yeah. I knew I was going to get it. Went through all the interview process that you've went through. Yeah. And after the 4th month, like, it's so tiring. I was back and forward to London so much, playing these massive games, mentally, physically. You're almost brainwashed to think that it is a business opportunity. And it is a business opportunity, 100%. But you forget it's a TV show.
And they are trying to break you to find the story behind the person so that they can utilise that in the TV show. I think that's what's very hard for people.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, each to their own. Like, I kind of did go in, be like, I'm here to get investment. And I was. Yeah. I'm here to do this. And then I realised, okay. There's a TV show going on here. Now, the penny didn't drop for about 4 weeks.
Okay.
Because it's an experience.
Level as well. I mean, I did a TV program years and years ago called The Human Zoo, and it was a psychological thing, actually very similar to what they do to you on The Apprentice and hold you within a bubble. But like, I'm still friends with those people 23 years later because they put us in a scenario of living together, being together, no other...
We had people always say to me, why didn't you Google it? Or why didn't you look up a map?
They take
The Apprentice. And like, we had no phone. I had 3 10-minute calls to my husband over that whole time and I couldn't even tell him where I was. So like I'm bonded to those 18 candidates forever.
Yes.
You know, and
no one else has experienced that.
No, and no one will experience what we went through. We can't even talk about what we really went through.
Trauma.
The trauma. But you know what? It has been more than a blessing than I ever thought it would be. Honestly, I had a bit of fear and anxiety that, oh, what if they're going to, you know, if they're going to cut me and make me look like this, da, 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 da. And, you know, it's so funny. I don't know if you watched Big Brother this year. Did you watch that?
I did watch Big Brother, the celebrity one.
The celebrity one, right? And I am such, like, my guilty pleasures. I love a bit of reality
I love
TV.
shit telling.
Oh, I love crap. I love, it's killing my brain cells.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Give me all the Real Housewives. Everything's coming.
Oh, yeah, I love it, girl. So I remember I was watching it and it was around the time it was out and Ek and Sue came out and she was like, I'm blaming the edit, da, da, da. And this is the time The Apprentice was coming out. And I was like, you can't blame the edit.
No.
If it came out of your mouth and out of your tongue, you've said it.
Yeah.
And people always ask, is it scripted? It's not scripted. It's edited. But if you said it, own it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I said stuff. But like at times I was exhausted, but I was still just myself. And
favourite part of it?
Favourite part was, the favourite part was the people.
Okay.
Yeah. And just the excitement of being part of a TV show.
Yeah.
That was probably it. Least favourite part of it was probably like feeling lonely.
Selling a tent?
Selling a tent. Do you know what? Actually.
That was my favourite part.
So, your favourite part?
I was like, come on, girls.
I'm getting slagged for the tent, right? And you know what? They did a lot of editing in that episode. I still made sales, Shan.
Do you know what? I bloody loved it. I was like...
Did you see my legs kick up in the air?
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Oh my God, don't.
No,
I literally kicked off my heels, jumped in the tent and started kicking my legs in the air.
Loved it. I loved it. I was like, she's selling the tent. What's the problem? She is selling that tent.
Oh my gosh.
Loved it.
So, but my favourite part was Budapest.
Okay. It was beautiful, Budapest.
It was amazing. And you didn't see it, but like they edit this bit and I'm like to people, put your feet on the earth. Breathe in. And I looked, and they put on the funny music. So I looked like this mad woman, right? That's out there telling people when they're on a wine tour. But do you know what? They loved it. And they did loads of the breathing and the exercise with me and they didn't get one refund. And it's so funny. I've actually got a few yogis that were like, I seen you on the Budapest.
And I'm doing yoga tools.
And I'm doing your yoga online now.
Yeah.
So it's mad.
Love that. And actually there's a lovely yoga girl down in Cork that does food and wine tours actually.
Does she?
And incorporates the yoga in it. And it's lovely. It's really nice. And it shows off the city. It's something different. Introducing new people to movement.
Yeah.
You know, I
movement and food go well together.
They do, because you have to work it off. Because I love a bit of food. But for me, like obviously movement's such a big part of my life and it's such a big part of your life now. Like I'm always saying to people, I don't care how people move. I just want them to find something that they like.
Yeah, same. And I'm always saying to people like, oh yeah, you have to do yoga. I don't say that. Like I'm like to people, find your movement. Yeah. Find your happy place. Like yoga is actually how you treat yourself. It's about coming together. If it's breathing for 5 minutes, like even Pilates, like running, walking, if you need to breathe, I think if more of us connect to our lungs, everything else will be well.
Yeah, I actually just did Oxygen Advantage breathwork course.
Oh.
So nasal breathing. Yeah. So I'm learning a whole new way to breathe over the last 6 months, which I never thought.
Wow. Are you taping your mouth at night?
Taping, yeah.
Girl, I'm obsessed.
Okay.
Now, I've got to the stage where, I don't know if you've read the book Breath. Have you read that, James Nestor? Oh my gosh. So I read the book about 2 years ago and then I was like, kind of building confidence with the taping because it can feel a little bit suffocating.
Yeah.
Started in September and now I can't have a good night's sleep without it.
So I'm not quite at full night yet, but what I've discovered, so because I would get a bit claustrophobic if I taped my whole mouth, but I always say to people, if you put your finger on your top lip, it can't really move, and if you put your finger on your bottom, so I tape above and below.
Ah,
but it just gives the impression of holding the lip. But if I need to exhale, so sometimes I forgot what they call it now. You know when you. You just blow a breath. It means I can. So I've been sleeping better like that. But I'm fascinated by it. And it makes complete sense. Yeah. It really does.
It really does. But then you might not be a mouth breather. So some people, like I'm definitely a mouth breather.
I was.
And I find that now I'm even better conscious of it, even like when I'm moving other ways. You know, when I do my yoga practice, I'm 100% a nasal breather. But like, even like swimming and stuff like that, it's and we've gone on a tangent now. This is probably a bit of ADHD here that's kicked in.
Do you know what? And I was going to say, because in Pilates we teach, in through the nose, up. So I had to change, I'm like, no, actually, I need to keep that because that's what Pilates is.
Yeah.
And then the breath work is something
and it doesn't
different.
mean it's wrong. Do you know,
No.
it's so and it's like, I have a yoga teacher training school as well. And like me and my business partner, like we're both teaching different things, different methods. It's like, it's so good that we're challenging each other. And it doesn't mean a certain way that's wrong.
No, you'll find a way for you.
Find a way for you, or science changes, different things, for your body and stuff.
And so when you're not doing yoga, what do you do? What's your thing? Like, how do you like to treat yourself?
Oh, this is going to sound really... No, it's not. I'm just so proud of this. It's my dog.
Okay.
My dog, Punta, is my best friend. Yeah. Honestly, go hang out with her. Go have a laugh. I love my girlfriends. Have a little run club we do on Wednesdays. Like, love a bit of reality TV, veggie on the couch. But like, I just love being outside. If I'm at the beach, if I'm at the coast, if I'm in nature, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Or I'm booking my next trip.
Travel, travel all the way. Yeah, I'm for myself as well. And Be Bell is all about that. It's finding those things that you really like. And so for you, I suppose, what's next for you? What have you learned over the last 12 months, I suppose, and how are you going to utilise that to move forward?
Yeah, so I suppose I've learned maybe that I'm more resilient than I thought I was. There's more hours in the day. I don't know if that's that healthy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even though at times The Apprentice definitely did knock my confidence at times, I just shown that like, if you just be who you are, honestly. And at times in The Apprentice, I was just fully myself. I was like, I'm not playing into these games. I'm not doing X, Y, Z. I'm not going to cut someone's throat when I would never do that in real life. And it stood to me, and I'm just growing. Like I'm obsessed with my business. Like it's my baby. I go through this little battle where I'm like, oh, I need to switch off. But you know what? I don't.
No.
It makes me happy. Like doing this today is in my work. Like this is the dream. I get to chat to a woman that's in the same industry as me, and it's like I'm energized off you. Do you know what I mean?
My husband was saying, all you do is talk to people.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so
it's hard work talking to people, but it is.
Yeah.
Who do you think's been the biggest influence on you?
My dad, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love my mom so much and she's the fire, but he's such a yogi, he doesn't even know it.
Okay.
Love
that.
Yeah, probably my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. My family we're so tight. My 5 brothers, like they slag me off. Do you know what I mean? They're like, Ashley, you're a yoga teacher. What are you doing? They all have businesses. And I'm like, I play into that. I'm like, just had a class going for a walk with the dog. Not that I'm sitting on my computer the last 8 hours.
Jealous of me much. And are they all entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
God, your dad must be super proud.
Yeah, from plumbers to security systems to mechanic to roofer. There's loads going on.
And obviously with such a large family, like are you close with all your cousins as well?
Yeah, we're all very close.
Yeah,
very
I
close.
love that.
Yeah. It's so funny. I had an ex-boyfriend many years ago and I'd be out in the club and like, I'd be like, hey cuz. He thought I had like a little nickname for people. He'd be like, you just call everyone your cuz. I was like, no, they actually are my cousin.
Oh my God, I love it. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And would you like to continue that? Are you up for a massive family or just dogs?
No way. I know. I hope one day I'll be a mom. Put the eggs in the freezer, so have a little insurance policy.
Oh, do you? Fair play to you.
Yeah. True.
I'm so interested.
Yeah.
I actually recently
That's a whole other podcast.
That is. Well, actually, I've been down that route. Wasn't successful, but I didn't freeze. But I actually bought off somebody else. I always say to people that I listened to actually a pod the other day and the girl was saying, at 30, because I shouldn't have asked that question, but I'm just interested now. I'm invested in your life.
Yeah.
But she was like, what advice would you give to people? I'm not ready to start my family yet. And I was just screaming at the thing, just freeze the eggs.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. Like I froze mine just before The Apprentice at 33.
Brilliant.
And I was like, I have, like in my family, I've had people that have really had a lot of time with IVF and struggle with fertility. So it was even though I know I'll be fine, and that might sound so cocky and arrogant, but I've got a very good intuition. And I even feel like maybe I will give my eggs to someone.
Yeah.
Or,
what a beautiful gift.
Do you know what I mean? Like I have, a lot of friends in the gay community. You never know.
No, you don't. I mean, I ended up buying eggs from a lovely, beautiful Spanish lady.
Wow.
No, it didn't work out, but I just always think what a lovely gift to be able to give to someone.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely insurance policy as well. And I think women underestimate how important that is actually. And as you probably know, from 33, they do start to diminish. So why not have some really healthy and
That's it. That
strong
being
ones?
said, you know what, Shan, I could talk about this a lot. Like, I don't know if it's society that tells you should be a mother.
Yes.
And I don't really get a call that I'm like,
okay,
be a mammy.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I don't know if I want to be a mother because I think it's what I should do. So I'm going through that a little bit.
That is confusing for people, I think.
And I think that like I've got loads of nieces and nephews. I've got 4 now, and I have friends that I call my nieces and nephews.
Yes.
I love children. I do.
Yeah.
But I love my life. I love just me and my husband.
Yeah.
And I tell you, he loves it, just the two of us. I mean, the dog was even a push for him.
Yeah. I know, but
so
I think
it's really interesting, isn't it?
It is really interesting. And obviously someone that's been through it sort of on the other side, I really did want, but, I tell a lot of people the story now that I'm also okay not having them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's a great life there either way.
That's it, 100%. And I think if you're whatever you're at, I just believe you're at peace. It's all meant to be, you know?
But I love the fact that you've given yourself an option and you've given yourself time to just go away and think about it.
As a bit of an insurance policy.
Yeah, but it's a great insurance policy to have and one worth doing. But oh my God. Listen, let's take a question from a previous guest.
Oh, I love this. Love this. Pick me a good one now.
I'm not picking them. You pick them. I'm not getting the blame.
Oh.
I always have to put my glass on.
Oh, that's a good one. What
say?
3 words best describe you? From Gina. Is that Gina? I'm so bad at reading the handwriting.
This was from Gina London.
Oh.
That's a long time ago. Gina was on. That's lovely.
Yeah, I would say energetic.
Yeah.
Passionate. And loyal, I'd say. Once you're my friend, I'm your friend forever.
And I would add, like, just, you have a presence. Like,
mad woman.
No, you have a presence. Like, you're just, like, we talked about energy at the beginning of this pod. You give off great energy. I don't know how I'm going to get into my Mini to drive home. I'm buzzing now.
Yeah.
I'm just so appreciative of you spending time with me today.
Oh, I could have kept going.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. We're going to do another one. We'll definitely do another one.
Yeah, love it.
But thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love and light. Thank you.
So thank you for listening to this week's B-Bell podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on social media. If you've got any questions, then please don't hesitate to DM us at bbell_wellness. You can also find this on our YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel, Sian Horn. And don't forget, the more people that subscribe, the better that we can make this pod. So don't forget, like and subscribe across all channels. And thank you.